I've planted up all my pepper plants now, so I was filling these with earth, these tubs with earth this morning. The sun is really in the wrong position, isn't it? Let's go the other way around. Hello, princess. Hello, darling. So, filled these tubs this morning and planted these with my peppers. Also peppers out in both of the boats there and there. And also peppers in my herb wall here. You can see them, they're the tall ones. So those are the peppers and chili peppers, and then these absolutely adorable purple peppers. Can you see? You probably can't see that's purple with the phone. So this is one of the beds that's going to be for flowers. So I have dug this up this morning and started planting this out. So that's the petunias. This entire area here is to be the other bed. So I want to just wait for the helicopter to go. I've got to want to dig that up and put another row of petunias there, and then a mound of earth at the back there, and I've got some straw flowers, some snapdragons, some marigolds, some love in the mist, some various different bits and pieces that I planted from seed. So that's basically to go there. What's there at the moment are sunflowers waiting to go out, and my remaining tomatoes that I've got to find space for. So I think once they've grown up, they're going to take up pretty much most of that space if they're anything like last year's. So I can't really plant anything else in there. So this is my pile of dirt, and I just don't have the energy to dig that up. I really need some help. Someone that can just dig that up and transport it to that spot over there where the flower bed's going to be. I would really like it. Somebody be kind and offer me some help. Right, so what else have we got going on? Right, so Kimmy was very kind last week. No, not last week, she wasn't in last week. Week before last. Oh, it just shows how far I'm behind with my stuff. And she weeded out these 4 beds for me. So those are ground cherries that I've got to plant up in those 4 beds. And then I'm going to try some in here and some in that bed over there as well, because there's nothing growing in there at the moment. But I have a feeling they won't do too well because they're not going to be in the sun every hour of the day. So I planted about 200 peas this morning, but it's not as hard work as it sounds. They're here all the way along here, and I'm blocking it, all the way along there. And it was quite simple really, because they were in the gutter. I'd planted them in the gutter method, and so they slid out basically and filled those gaps there. So what that means is, although we do have some peas already growing up here, there aren't that many. So what it means hopefully is that I will have a hedge of peas growing up here, which should be beautiful when they're all in flower. Our peas that we planted first of all this year have started to blossom, and I ate first peas off of there today. They tasted wonderful. So the heat is definitely getting to me because I can't get my words out straight, but let's go and do a garden tour. So sorry I'm not actually in this video myself. I wasn't planning on it being a garden tour, it's just ended up being that way. Oh, Winifred is in that flower bed. Right, I'm gonna have to keep an eye on her. So what have we got? Nasturtium bordering some tomatoes. They're purple and green tomatoes with some onions growing in there too. Again, some nasturtium here with the beefsteak tomatoes and some onions. Hello Sylvie. Hello Princess. Is it dinner time? No, it's not. It's way too early for dinner time. You're just keeping me company. Are you just keeping me company? In here we have nasturtiums bordering blue tomatoes and cucumbers that are going to grow up there, and more cucumbers that are going to grow up there, and that's our gojo berries in the middle that haven't had a berry on them yet, so maybe this year. In here we have yellow cherry tomatoes with more cucumbers that will hopefully grow up here, and nasturtiums as well again. And in here we have chocolate cherry tomatoes with nasturtiums bordering. These nasturtiums are huge, and then some more cucumbers in there again to go over that bush. And those are our asparagus that just bolted early on. I didn't even get one off of there. Our squash and courgette, I can't remember which we've got in here, are planted along here now, just being protected from the slugs in their bottles. Those bottles will hopefully come off soon. This is our fig tree. Then we've got our in-ground potatoes growing along here, with hopefully some beans growing up behind them, but they seem to be a little swamped at the moment. I can't see. We've got a bean flower here, which is lovely, but I had hoped that the beans would climb all the way up the front and give me a kind of hedgerow along here. In the first boat we have my favourite tomatoes planted out, the little white cherry tomatoes. Nasturtium again, a couple of peppers in here as well, and some lettuce that won't be long before that's coming out, because that's going to bolt soon. That one looks like it's almost gone already. What else have we got in here? We've got some more peppers at the back there, and the garlic, which will be coming out. And harvesting that hopefully not too long. And we have, I want to say red zebra tomatoes in the back here, and another, oh, we've got a purple chili. So we've got a chili plant in the back here, and some spring onions. Oh, sorry sweetie. And here in the other boat we have got another chili plant and purple chili plants there. Some miscellaneous tomatoes. It said Chinese rainbow on it. What that means, I have no idea. More garlic to be harvested. One pussycat to be planted. What else have we got in here? We've got some more peppers. Oh, I've got some spinach I need to harvest. That's bolted. Some more peppers there. These are, oops, sorry Sylvie, Amish paste tomatoes here that look as if they're struggling a little, I have to say. More lettuce that will be harvested not too long, and nasturtium at the front. And then along, so I'll step back a bit. So the week before last, this lovely arch went up here, and on both sides we have got growing, hopefully, some loofahs, some melons. That's it, loofahs and melons, mainly melons. Mainly melons with, I think it's a loofah on that side and a loofah on that side. So that is exciting. But they do look like they're struggling a bit. But have faith, have faith. Right, along here we have more potatoes and our in-ground potatoes, and beans along the back there that again they're popping their heads out occasionally, but I'm not seeing too many. Hi Sims. I've got all the cats in the garden. Well, not all of the cats. Where's Titch? Titch is not here. And over here, oops, I've got some bark I've got to break up for the path there. That's what you could hear me on. Along here we've got our other courgette and squash bed. And these, hopefully, both of these beds, the one that's on the other side there and this one here, are hopefully bush ones if I labelled them properly. In this bed we've got heart paste tomatoes, and in here we have got some tiger tomatoes, and again with spring onions, or onions at the front, and nasturtium on the edge. Over to the long beds, and we have some beetroot that is taking forever to grow in here, so I'm not sure if it's going to do well or not. Leeks that are desperately in need of being harvested because they've all gone to seed. Nasturtium up the edge. That is still last year's broccoli and cabbage, which I'm just pinching leaves off of at the moment to feed the chickens. That will be my new leek area at the back. The bottles have got climbing squash underneath them, and those are my, oh look, more peas. Can you see the purple peas? Oh, I will get in there later. Right, so the climbing squash should climb up over the top of here just like the peas are. Next year I'm going to try the peas on the straight fence and the beans on the arch fences, because I understand that the beans do much better on an arch. Peas just grow up, so they like a support to grow up, but they're not going to come over the top of the arch. They're just going to keep going up like this one is here. So we have our in-bag potatoes growing along here. Some of our backup tomatoes in the trough having a good water. In the middle here, where it's nice and shaded from the peas, I have got a mixture of pink and yellow chard and some spinach. And in the bottles, and even on the other side, even though they have not got bottles on them, are some climbing squash that have been planted. They did really well over here, the climbing squash, last year. I am hoping that they'll do well again. No. Who's a lovely girl? I've got onions growing here and here in the barrels, and another row of potatoes in bags here. The two bags at the front here and on the other side have been last minute potatoes that have gone in. My carrots, now they're all catching up with each other, which is wonderful, but I do clearly have a bare patch there and a few spaces along here, so I think that was just a shift in the seeds. Probably watered too hard when the seeds were still small. Nasturtium growing all the way along the edge to hopefully disguise the carrots from carrot fly, and some more leeks that need to be harvested. This is my long bed of chard, spinach, pink chard, white, pink chard, yellow chard and spinach, and this has got a few trailing squash plants in it as well. These chards are not doing as well as the other chards. I'm just trying to think what the difference of them was. Oh, I know, these were direct sown. The other ones were sown indoors and then transplanted. So this is one of my corn beds, so that's corn either side with beans, dwarf beans in the middle, and trailing squash around the outside. This is a bed of trailing squash, some Those that you can see have been transplanted, and then there's some additional seeds that have been sown direct that haven't come up yet. Here's my second corn bed, and that's got the beans down the middle. One of the beans is struggling down the middle here, or a couple of them are, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. And the squash around the outside. I think this squash can probably have its protection taken off, considering the fact it has burst through the top. Can you see that? Right. Oh, we're out of focus. Can we get in focus again? Any chance there's some focusing? Okay. So, Sylvie, don't eat my corn, please. Anyway, that is now out. That squash there is now out of its bottle. Hopefully large enough that if a slug eats a leaf, it won't die from it. I really need to weed this area over here. Then this is my brassica bed at the back here. So all of these here are brassicas. This area here gets the shade most of the day. It does get the sun in the morning. And I've got cauliflower, broccoli, kale, Brussels, cauliflower, broccoli, kale, Brussels, and cabbage growing in this bed here. I don't know if that's the best angle to see it. Let's try coming from this end and looking back at it. That's a bit better. So we're back out of the long bed section, so you can see there's one long bed, the middle long bed, the second long bed, the arches going over, the 2 tubs of onions. So I have got a fence that runs along the front here, and I planted some peas up along it, and at the beginning of the video you would have seen that I have just planted out about 100 peas on that side and 100 pea plants on that side, to create a long hedge that's hopefully going to produce some peas. I'm hoping it's going to work. Along the rest of the hedge, along fence along here, I have got sweet pea growing, but it clearly isn't getting enough sunlight because they have hardly grown at all. They just probably went in a little bit late, considering when we planted them in, there was barely a leaf on the willow, but now the willow casts a huge shadow over that area, so probably too much of a shadow to provide enough sun for those sweet peas. So onto the fruit, we have the cherry tree, the plum tree, the medlar tree. Behind it here is the big old apple tree, which really is old. Probably won't last an awful lot longer before we need to get rid of it, unfortunately. Here is the blueberry bush. You can see a load of blueberries on there. I'll have to start netting. And then we've got blackberry, raspberry, red, black and white currant. I'm not quite sure which order they are. So those are my fruits. I did have this bit I've just lost control of this bit here, but there are a couple of strawberry plants in here, but there's just not enough sun in this area to grow anything substantial. So the strawberries haven't really done anything this year. Another new addition this year is the patio with the herb wall. So I'll go inside to show you, because I can cheat and look at labels. So in the end here, in this pot and in that pot over there actually, we have got lavender. That you will see the familiar nasturtium growing in amongst all the way around the whole of this. And you will see the odd lettuce as well that I planted in the odd space. And here I've actually got some peppers just popping there. Just because there's a little space and I grew too many peppers. So here we have rosemary, dill, thyme, parsley, Japanese coriander, oregano. That's my space for basil, and my space for sage, but that space for sage might be being swapped for coriander. This is a curry plant, and apparently you can't eat this curry plant, but it smells so strong of curry. Just as the wind catches it, that's it. You can smell nothing but curry. Corn salad, regular mint, spearmint, peppermint, chevril, catnip, chives. Oh, a little goat. A little goat. Yes, I see you. You chasing one of the chickens. Hello, sweet pea. Where were we? Chives, watercress, lemon balm, and a little bit more lettuce at the end there. This is a grapevine that I've been given. I think that pretty much covers that. I've got a couple more things to put in. I've got a bed here and a bed there that I need to plant some bits in. Started on the flowers this morning. So we have some petunias that have gone in. This whole section will become my other flower bed. And along here, so this is my pepper and second melon, or second pepper and second melon area. So the boats have got some peppers and melons in them, but along here underneath the pergola where it picks up a bit more heat, we've got peppers and melons growing here as well. So we have a really hot, which I don't even eat hot peppers, but a really hot, and that's not even, is that going to go into, there we go, into focus, a really hot purple pepper there, which apparently as they, oh, I'm out of focus again, what's wrong with my focusing? They go a whole rainbow of colours as they ripen. I'm trying to think what order I've got these in. I don't know whether it really matters. I think these are regular peppers here, and then some of these peppers down here are early yellow. They're like a creamy yellow colour, and some of these are ram's horns, and then these are chili peppers here with the purple one again. There we go. Beautiful purple, and those flowers are just gorgeous. Will it focus on those flowers for me? So I think that's about it. I have got a whole huge amount of ground cherries to go into the ground, surprisingly enough. So those are all my ground cherries, so I've got to plant those out. I've still got all these tomatoes here and the ones in the water tub over there, which I've got to find somewhere to plant those. Sunflowers, they will be dotted in and around. I've just got to find space for them. And the flower area here. And then the loofahs. I've got a few more loofahs to plant. I'm almost there. Almost there. It's been back-breaking. But I do believe that we are pretty much at the point, or I'm pretty much at the point of being able to sit back and go, and then go, oh look, my grass needs to be cut. The willow needs to be trimmed. But if I can at least get everything out into the garden, then I know everything's planted, and then it's just a matter of going round and pruning, and then it will be a matter of going round and harvesting. I'm not going to do the chickens and the goats today. You can see the mess that I'm in. But also the potential of it all coming together. So until next time, happy planting. Bye.